So, we just had the return of Shakur Stevenson after almost 8 months out of the ring in a return card that I would say was quite alright. I mean, it included names like Keyshawn Davis, Abdullah Mason, and some now former champions like Oshaki Foster, who took on 3-time title challenger Robson Conceição in a very controversial bout where many people, I would say, could agree that it was a complete robbery decision. Today we're only going to talk about the problem with the main event. Shakur Stevenson, with a record of now 22 wins and 0 losses, taking on Olympic bronze medalist Artem record of 12 wins with 1 defeat. For Shakur, this was supposed to be a defense of his newly gained WBC lightweight title, a belt that he got in a very controversial and boring bout against Edwin de los Santos, where a lot of people did criticize Shakur Stevenson for quote-unquote running and making it so boring. Last night we did kind of have a similar issue. That is the main reason why I'm talking about this in the first place, because it seems like things just haven't changed after all those 8 months. Giving you a quick little recap here in case you missed it, Shakur Stevenson kind of started off the same, just fencing with Artem, and this is where the problem starts, because a lot of people do complain that Shakur Stevenson takes forever to get the fight started. I'm not sure if he's still traumatized from Edwin de los Santos or what's going on, because this is something that needs to change if Shakur Stevenson wants to become a star, because any casual watching this, they probably would have turned this off, or they probably did turn it off after those couple rounds. People take time out of their day to go out there and show support in person, or they decide to sit down at home and chill and watch this, and they're not there to see two guys just standing there moving around in circles just doing absolutely nothing. No, people want to be entertained, and that's not something that Shakur Stevenson is doing. But anyway, Shakur Stevenson does end up turning it up a little bit more, but mainly with the body shots. He does start aiming the body of Artem Haramtunyam, breaking him down, and although I thought he could have maybe stopped him a couple times, he just doesn't go for it. It's Shakur Stevenson, like, I don't know what he's waiting on. This guy isn't much of a puncher, so I don't know what Shakur Stevenson is scared of. Like, why isn't he letting his hands go? And that was about it going into the 12th round, so you didn't miss much. Now we get into the pros and cons of this bout. Some of the pros I did have about this bout is that Shakur Stevenson actually didn't move as much as he did in the De Los Santos fight, and that's expected. Like I said, Artem Haramtunyam isn't that big of a puncher like Edwin de los Santos, so that's probably one of the reasons why Shakur Stevenson actually decided to stand there and actually decided to come forward this time like he did in some of his previous bouts. And for me, that could be basically it. Like, he just didn't move as much as he did in the De Los Santos fight, and that's a good thing. But would he do that against a guy that actually comes forward with a lot of pressure, like maybe William Zepeda, someone like that? Now this is where we get onto the downsides. Like I mentioned, Shakur Stevenson does take a long time to get started, and that could be a very bad thing, especially for the casuals that are just tuning in. And at the same time, Shakur Stevenson, from what I saw from him, he was just throwing the same shots kind of over and over and over. The only things I did see was the body shots, which I did like. He wasn't really setting anything up, no double jab, no triple jab, you know, those blinding shots that really set up those big shots that you don't see coming, those that can really put a guy out, especially in vulnerable moments like when he had Artem Haramtunyam hurt to the body. He just kind of let him get away, and that's another thing. He just doesn't know how to cut off the ring well, and that's something that even Shakur Stevenson himself said post-fight, saying that he needs to work on that. And that fire, once again, he just doesn't seem like he wants to finish his opponents. He just kind of wants to go to the distance, even though in between rounds he would tell his corner that he was going to stop him, all this and all that, and he just never did. Like, once again, like, what are you so scared about this guy that, you know, you're not letting your hands go? I'll still give Shakur Stevenson his props, because at the end of the day, he did dominate Artem Haramtunyam. You know, Frank Martin was out there going to war, actually getting beat up by this guy, and Shakur Stevenson, although he did it in a very boring way, he still dominated and did what he was supposed to do. And the only thing I would have added was I thought he probably could have knocked this guy out and just got him up out of there, but that just didn't happen. This fight was maybe just like Edwin de los Santos part 2, just maybe a little less boring, and I mean slightly less boring, because I told you guys I was about to turn this thing off, so it was still on that level of boring. I did give Shakur Stevenson the benefit of the doubt back when he fought Edwin de los Santos, because he was saying that he injured his hand prior to the fight.
Doctor just told me I need 6 weeks right now, so it ain't too crazy.
For this one, I was expecting a lot more, and we just didn't get it. Now, moving on to what could be happening next, Shakur Stevenson has mentioned that he wants to take on Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko, but once again, there are some rumors saying that those two are actually negotiating right now to actually fight later on this year, around October or November, in a lightweight unification. So Shakur Stevenson would be left out. That would only leave him with like a guy like William Zepeda, a guy that I don't really think he wants to face right now. This guy, unlike Shakur, he is a very strong puncher and likes to let his hands go. And And like I said, if Shakur Stevenson barely lets his hands go, how is he gonna keep this guy away from him? How is he gonna stop him from just coming forward and just straight up punish him? No respect. I could see how he could do that against a Gervonta Davis, because yes, in fact, I still believe that Shakur Stevenson can outbox Gervonta Davis. Like, Gervonta barely throws any punches, and it took him around 8 rounds to figure out a guy like Frank Martin, a 30-year-old prospect. Respectfully, Shakur Stevenson is now a promotional free agent, so he can go wherever he wants. But to be honest, after these last 2 performances, and who's gonna be willing to pay him that amount of money he was making with Top Rank to just get booed and for people to start leaving his fight early? Because yeah, a lot of people are leaving, and this is just not something we're making up. Like, there's videos out there of people straight up leaving in the middle of the fight, and that is a very bad look, because why would someone pay you around $3 million just to go out there, waste their money, get booed, have people leave early, and just make the promotion look bad? And in my opinion, I feel like Shakur Stevenson might not want to sign a long-term deal with other promotional companies, so wherever he goes, he may end up being the away fighter all the time, and that's just more things against you. We got Michael Benson saying that Shakur Stevenson has now revealed that he actually turned down a $15 million 5-fight deal to re-sign with Top Rank, and there was a guaranteed minimum of $3 million per fight, so he was going to be getting overpaid. I don't really know what's up with these defensive fighters. Like, nobody else is going to be Floyd. Floyd is Floyd, and nobody else will ever be Floyd. Like, Floyd Mayweather didn't fight like that at the age of 26, 27, whatever Shakur Stevenson is. Floyd Mayweather was actually a dog in his prime. You didn't see him run around turning his back. That's how he ended up getting attention before he ended up injuring his hand and turning into Money Mayweather. I don't know why a lot of people want to fight like old Mayweather. Like, Floyd Mayweather didn't fight like that, and that's how a lot of these fighters like Shakur and Devin Haney want to fight like. Don't get me wrong, Shakur Stevenson does have skill, but at the end of the day, if you want to become a star, you're gonna have to stop putting people to sleep so early into the fight, because I don't know how far you're gonna get doing that. You don't get paid to go out there and put master classes, go the distance. Like, nah, bro, you don't get paid for extra time, bro. Why would you want to do that? Just get the guy out of there and go home. Be sure to subscribe and let me know what you think of this whole Shakur Stevenson situation. What should he do? Because right now things are not looking very good for him. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.